It's their debut game of the season. It's the Dragons. Sloan, Fagay, Suli, Lomax, Ravalawa, Sullivan, Hunt, Molo, Mumbai, Laurie, Ben Murdoch, Masala, Jaden Sewer, Jack Bird, Jacob Little, Zane Musgrove, Toby Couchman, Michael Molo, Josh Kerr in the 18th man. Now, I'm sure you'll touch on this, so I'm going to let you go because I know you did a bit of research on this, but there might be a little bit of a change in this squad with the no stand-down policy being removed by one of the Young Dragons players. Talk to me about the squad and about that.
Yeah, so I think it's Amon, who was stood down for his off-field incident involving the police. Now, it's the stand-down policy. Now, in further research into this, apparently, if you are looking at a sentencing which carries 11 or more years on it, you are stood down. Apparently, now the police have downgraded his charge, and now he falls underneath that 11 years prison sentencing if he is found guilty. So now he becomes eligible to be picked back for the Dragons, which I think is a bit how you're going. I think it should just be stand down for every police incident that is involving jail time. It's community service. Just slap on the wrist, give him a fine, and tell him to pick up some rubbish on the M1. I think it'll do him a world of good. But this side, they look really good against the bye last week, so not much to talk about them on their first game for 2023. But we move into winners of last week's last game of Sunday Night Football, and you've got AJ Brimson in the fullback role with AKP and Jojo Fafita, I should say Jay, in the wing position. Aaron Schlupp and Philip Sami in the centre roles. Kieran Foran makes his return back at 6 with Tanner Boyd. He did go off with some leg issue. He's been back. Name's back. You got JJ and Big Tino in the forward pack with Sammy Verrills to make out the hooker role. David Fafita, apparently there's a little cheeky Instagram photo if you want to go have a look. It doesn't say anything, but just has the little signing emoji. Maybe he has signed an extension with Joe Simpson in the back row position with Isaac Liu in the 13 role, with Jaden Campbell back still in the 14 role with MF on the 15, Aaron Clark and Sam McTire to make out the interchange bench with Chris Randall to make the 18th role. If there's anything to take away from this, if they can perform the same thing they did last week against this fresh Dragon side, they should run away with it, and I am going to back a 1-12 Gold Coast win.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting lineup. Now, obviously, we'll talk about Fafita first. You did bring that up. That's a massive coup for this club. Obviously, if they did lose him to Brisbane, who were throwing big money at him, you start to lose the identity of that club, because then who's next? Does Tino go? Does someone else leave? Do they start to lose players? Now, from all accounts, it is a massive deal to the end of 2026. Brisbane did come in with an 11th hour bid for him, but obviously that failed. And it's rumored that contract is announced or will be confirmed very soon. Give him that little signy emoji as well. But Kieran Foran now, he came off last week with a PCL/MCL. I'll be quite honest with you. I do not think he starts. I do not think he takes part of this game at all. I think he is a player that does come out on that Saturday, the day before, an hour before lineup. That then now tosses up. Do you put Alex Brimson into the 6? Do you put Jaden Campbell into the 6? Who plays fullback? Do you leave Brimson where he is? Or do you move him into that position because he has played there before? So they're not light on options that they can move there. Brimson will do a job. Jaden Campbell will do a job. So for me, in this game, you're going to win it on the back of Tino, on the back of obviously Fafita, Verrills, his speed from dummy half. It's incredible. I just can't see this team going down to the Tigers. Going down to the Dragons. Like, no disrespect, but they beat the Tigers. They played them off the park. And if I look at those squads combining, they've got a much better squad than the Dragons. So I do think Amon comes into that squad. I do think Kieran Foran drops out of these. And for that reason alone, I'm going to go 1 to 12. If I was 100% certain that Kieran Foran was playing and Amon wasn't going to come in, I'd probably be leaning more towards that 13 plus to the Titans. But I'm going to go 1 to 12. Baxter, before we do sign off, is there anything else, obviously, you want to bring up before we move on? And just remember, you're on mute before you start talking.
Yep, I was just quickly changing some things around, and I will talk about the Dally M leaderboard. It will go behind closed doors after round 12, but to round out the top 10, you got Harry Grant, Chad Nicholstar, Daly Cherry Evans, Lachlan Ilias, and Jeremy Marshall King round out first spot with 6 points a pop. In tied second spot, or tied sixth spot at the moment, it is Scott Drinkwater and David Fafita on 5. And to make the tied seventh position, you got Payne Haas, Dylan Edwards, and Khalees Kafusi on 4. That is the top 10 as so far. As I touched on it before, apparently this year you can get up to a maximum of 6 points a game. I don't know how it's working, but I'll read into it before we get into our review for round 12. We might chuck up Dally M's then, and we might talk about it then, but that's from homework for me this week.
Yeah, obviously it is a bit interesting. I have heard, and I'm sure, like you said, you'll do more research, that it's actually an X panel of X players that will be determining who is going to get the points from each game. So it's no longer an independent person or a Daily Telegraph or something like that. It will be X players who will sit down. There'll be 2 of them, and they'll pick who they think should get the points. So I think you're going down the right path, because a lot of what we saw was the Sharks would win a game and automatically Nico Hines getting the points, where he might have had a poor game, where an ex-player would go, wait, hold on, the forwards bullied them. All Nico Hines did was put kicks up. So it definitely does give out an interesting thing. You look at the Dolphins last week, Jeremy Marshall King got 6 points in the Dally M's. However, Kafusi got the player of the match award that was the Arthur Beetson medal. So it's a bit of a 50-50 on how it should be done. I think the ex-players is the best way to go, as, hey, they've played on the pitch. They know what they're talking about. They know how to control a game. So in all accounts, I think it is a better move. The 6 points, well, I don't think it really makes a difference if it's 6 or 3 points, given it is what it is. Everyone's going to get it. But yeah, Baxter, that is your research for the week. We'll sign off here because we are pushing that 50-minute mark. But guys, let us know what you want to hear. We are 4 subs away from 200, so please hit subscribe. And Baxter, if they haven't hit like, if they haven't hit subscribe, mate, where are they going?
You're going for 10.
You're going for 10. Tune in next week, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers, mate.
See ya. Peace.